Hello everyone. Once again, I welcome you all for this subject that is advanced manufacturing processes. In this subject, in the today first video, we are going to discuss about the chemical machining process. We also call this process as a chemical milling. Okay, so let's start. Chemical machining is a process in which the workpiece is dissolved in a chemical solution. Okay, so here we are using this figure that is this is a steerer shaft. Okay, this is a steerer shaft and this is a vane. Okay, so this is a vane. Okay, and this is a container. Okay, and up to this height in this container the chemical solution is put inside of it. Okay, so when we are using this stirrer and the fan is this stirrer is continuously rotating. Okay, this is continuously rotating, so this will not means the fluid, whatever the chemical solution inside of this container is there, that will not be stationary. Okay, apart from it we are one more thing that we are using, that is a heating element over here. Okay, so some of the agent that is with respect to the rising temperature that affects a good removal of the material, so that because of that only we are using this heating element. So if, in case if it is required, then we can use, otherwise we can remove this part. Okay, so this is steer, the function of this is steer, as we discussed, that it's continuously rotating. This fan is continuously rotating, so that whatever the chemical solution is there, that will not be uniform, means that is that's not stable, that is continuously rotating. Okay, smoothly it's moving inside the container. Okay, next is this is a workpiece. This rectangular cross section is basically the workpiece. Okay, so whatever uh, the material, this much amount of the material, like this part from this cross section, this workpiece, we have to remove this much amount of part. Okay, this part. So what we are doing is we are exposing this surface. Uh, sorry, we are exposing this surface, okay, to the chemical solution. So when this chemical solution, this surface will come in contact with this chemical solution, that will remove the material layer by layer. Okay, so once this much amount, this specific, like for an example, that whatever the agent that we are using, that reduce thickness, okay, of 0.025 mm, okay, in 5 minutes. Okay, so for the first 5 minutes we are using, and this thickness is reduced from this side. Okay, from this workpiece, so that has been removed. Okay, after that we are taking it out, and we are removing this material, okay, from the surface which is removed. Okay, so that we are removing, and again we are putting this workpiece surface inside this mold, inside this chemical solution, and again we are continuously doing this process step by step. Okay, another thing is that this why this material is removed from this surface only, because here in this section, now we are talking about this section here, whatever the surface that is over here, eh, like uh, whatever the surface is over here, okay, this portion and this portion, so this portion, this area is completely, the surfaces is completely covered with the material. We call this material as a mask. Okay, and the process through which we are applying this mask over this surface, the workpiece surface, we call it as a masking. Okay, now this mask should be uh, this mask should be it should be chemical resistance. So whatever the chemical we are using, it should resist that chemical. Okay, so what will happen, if it will resist, then this area will not be covered by this chemical solution. Okay, means only this part is exposed to the surface. This part is this part of workpiece is surface, this part of this workpiece is exposed to the chemical solution, remaining part will not be exposed to the chemical solution. Means if if we are using this mask, then only this chemical solution will be there, but this will be in contact with this mask, and this mask is basically chemical resistant, so the material should not be removed from that part. Okay, so only whatever the surface that we have to remove, we expose that surface to the chemical solution, and apart from that, whatever the portion is there, we have to cover it with the mask. Okay, so the next is the part of the workpiece from which material removed is not required. Okay, covered with the mask, the mask which is a chemical that resist chemical action, we call this process as a masking. Okay, next is therefore a material from the unmasked portion of the workpiece is removed due to the chemical reactions. Okay, and that is from the masked part that should not be removed. Okay, so the next is there are these are basically, this is basically the process that we have discussed here, but there is some steps that we have to follow, okay, for this process. So uh, that we are going to discuss is, first is we have to reduce this residual stresses. Residual stresses are basically the internal stresses of the material, as we have already discussed in the introduction part that we are using these, basically these processes are non-conventional. So we are using these processes for the harder material. Okay, so harder material are generally very fine grain structures, and that fine grains has a good, the strength increases of that material. So if we'll any part, any excessive amount of the material that we have removed from the harder material, then there will be a cause of residual stresses. Means there will be the cracks initiates due to these residual stresses. Either cracks can be possible, then bending of the material can be possible. Okay, because whatever the material, whatever the grains are there inside the material, that will extract to remove what the material we are removing. Okay, so first of all, we have to release or relieve these residual stresses to prevent this wrapping. Okay, so this is we have to do. Next step is surface should be degreased and clean. Okay, this cleaning and degrease is required because like if this is a workpiece, okay, and if the material like here, sorry, like here we are using this mask. Okay, if this surface is not clean, and if there is some roughness is there, then when this feel this we are dipping this workpiece into the chemical solution, then there may be a possibility that this chemical solution can be moved inside. Okay, so that will be properly clean, so that the material this chemical solution should not move inside. Okay, also because of this cleanliness, the whatever the material that masking we are doing, that should be proper adhere with this workpiece material. Okay, so to ensure good adhesion of the masking material and uniform material removal. Okay, so this is about the cleanliness and the degrees. Next step is masking. So there are different types of materials are available, but these materials we are using on the basis of that what the chemical solution we are using. Okay, so for the, if we are talking about aluminum, then we are using NaCl. If we are talking about steel, then HCl we are using. And again, if it is a different materials, we are using these compositions with the different other reagents as well. Okay, other agents as well. So that we can use, but like cellotapes, paints, elastomers, plastics, that we can use, okay, for the masking purpose. Okay, next is the exposed surface are etched with the agents like NaCl and HCl. As I said, either if it is a large shape, okay, then we can keep it outside the container and we can just put the agent over that surface. Okay, with the liquid. Okay, so if it is a small in size, then we can dip it inside the container. Okay, so that depends what the shape is available. Then temperature control and the steering action is important to obtain a uniform depth of the material, because if the material chemical is continuously flow inside the container, then whatever if the temperature rises there, that should be occur throughout. Means it will be whatever the chemical solution inside the container, that will rise of that temperature inside the container will be uniform. Okay, so that will causes the uniform depth of removal of the material. Okay, so these are the steps that we have to follow in some of the books. If you will see, if you will study from the two books that we have discussed in the last video, so if you will study, then you can find that there are, in some of the books there are 5 steps, 6 steps, 7 steps, but these four are very very important. Okay, next is about the mask and the agents. Okay, so there are some points about that, what types, what are the characteristics of the mask and agent should be there, so that we have to study, that we have to going to discuss one by one. First is chemical resistance. Obviously, a chemical resistance should be required, because if it will not be there, then whatever the chemical solution that we are using, the material of this mask as along with the workpiece is removed. Okay, also, there is a one point that if we are using a thicker mask, okay, then that will resist the erosive action for the longer period of time. Okay, so if we have to protect a large depth of cut, then we can use a thicker masks. Okay, next is the quantity of parts. By the way, whatever the shapes that we are using, whatever the masking mask we are using for the workpiece, if it is complex in nature, means that should be as simple as possible. Okay, so that can be removed very easily. If it can be removed easily, then the large quantity can be produced. Okay, so this is only the meaning of this. So for large production, we have to use this process masking mask as simple as possible. Okay, last is easily removal. Okay, so that's delicate parts requires easy removal of the mask. And also, as I told you in this part, that is quantity of parts. If large part is required, then automatically whatever the masking that we are using, that should be easily removed. Okay, so these are the things that is required for the mask. Okay, up next is about the agents. So surface finish, some of the surface finish are causes the surface oxides. So because of that, surface finish is poor. So whatever the material we are using, like workpiece material, so we have to be choose the agents accordingly. Okay, next is a removal rate. There are different types of agents are using. If we are using a harder agent, harder means the stronger, that has a strong chemical bonding, means that can be remove the material very easily, and that can react with the workpiece very easily and quickly. So that we are calling them as a active agents. So that remove the material from the workpiece surface very faster, so that can reduce our machining time. So if we need it, then we can use it. Okay, next is a material type. So as I told you in the last slide, that first of all, we are using this harder materials. So we have to reduce this residual stresses. So uh, whatever the selection of the agents, that depends what materials we are using. So that can prevent this intergranular attacks, as well as hydrogen embrittlement, or stress corrosion cracking. So there are different cracks also that can be initiated if we are not using proper agents as per the availability, as per the requirement. Okay, so these are the things that is very very important about the agents. Okay, next is undercut. There is only one uh, cracks that is only one cracks that is undercut. Okay, so if you can just see this, this is a work piece. Okay, this is a work piece. Okay, and like first we have dipped this material, this workpiece inside the chemical solution. So it will remove this much amount of thickness in the beginning. Okay, for an example, this much amount of thickness means this material has been removed from the in first 5 minutes. Okay, so like this is a surface like 0.025 mm has been removed in first 5 minutes. So in the next 5 minutes again we have to go for this part. Okay, so we'll have to move for this part. Okay, this part will be removed in next 5 minutes. But what is happening is that is important. uh, this part, okay, when this material first 0.25 0.025 mm reduced, that time this chemical agent or agent that is coming in contact with the unexposed area, because this is an unexposed area. So this is an unexposed area, so that a chemical solution is coming in contact with this surface. So what will happen, a little bit this move inside of it. Okay, this will move like it, this this will move like this. Okay, so this kind of possibilities is there. So when you will move to this second step, then it will move like this. Okay, so it is as we are continuously dipping it inside for the larger time, it will remove the material from the unexposed areas. So that will, what will happen, because we want this, like for an example this is 100 mm and we need this 30 mm exact in shape. So what we have to do is, if we'll do like, if you'll only mask this 30 mm part, okay, this 30 mm part, then whatever the shape that we'll get, that will be lesser than sorry, this will be lesser than 30 mm. So what we have to do, we have to increase this masking thickness, this distance. Okay, so this will be greater than 40 or 50, so that at the end the shape will be 30. So if it is at the end, if it is greater than 30, then we can remove with the other machining processes, we can remove the excessive amount of material. But that will not that will save our this material. Okay, whatever the surface that we have to require, that will save accordingly. Okay, so this is only the that range that is important for this. Okay, next is there is a h factor. So whatever the undercut we are using here, okay, this thickness as well as this thickness. Okay, so this is total is undercut up to the what the depth of cut is required, what is depth of cut is given to you. Okay, so that is this factor, we are this ratio we are calling it as a h factor. Okay, next is one more factor is there, that is a rate of etching. So this rate of etching is nothing but it's a ratio of whatever the depth that we have to remove from the material we have to remove. This is the depth of cut, like we are, so this is the depth of cut, okay, d, and how much time we are using. So first, like we are reducing this one like d1 in t1 time, second d2 in t2 time, so that average we can take at the end. We can sum all the things. Okay, so that we can get the rate of etching at the end. Okay, so this is about the undercut. Last slide, that is a masking method. There are three types of methods, that is cut and peel. Okay, so in this method, like this, if this is a surface, okay, over that rubber coat, we have coated a rubber. Okay, or spray some neoprene, so that what will happen, if whatever the shape, like if this cylinder part we have to remove from it, so what we have to do is we are using a pattern of this, a hollow pattern of whatever the diameter is there, of the diameter is there. Okay, so that hollow part we are creating hollow pattern we are using over here. So what will happen, because of that, this much amount of material from this neoprene has been removed. So what will happen, only this area, only this area is exposed to the chemical solution when we are filling it. Okay, so this area is, this surface is unexposed, this surface is, sorry, exposed. Okay, so whatever the chemical solution will come in contact with this surface. Okay, and layer by layer that will remove the material from this portion. So this is about the cut and peel, means first of all we are removing, adding this rubber over the surface, and then we are cut it this part and we'll pull it out. Okay, so this is the first method. Second is screen printing method. So this method is like what we are doing is this mask ink is transferred to the workpiece and using a fine mesh screen. Okay, so that will be like a silk screen printing. So that is only we are calling it as a, and we call we this method is also very faster and economical. So if it is required for the large production, then we can use this method. Okay, and the mask thickness that we are using, that will be lesser than 0.05 for this method. Okay, so the last method is photoresist masking. In this method, the same that what we were doing in the content wheel, like this is a workpiece. Okay, and over that we are using this we are applying this photo resistance material. Okay, so after applying this photo resistance material, we are using the negative master patterns. Okay, so negative master patterns means next step is we have to pass all this all this that whatever this is this part is there, we have to pass it with the high strong ultraviolet lights. So what will happen, that this much amount, this negative part is removed from it, and this whatever the photo resistance is there, photoresistive material is there, that will stick to this surface. Okay, so because of this stick, this will become stick, and this material is removed. Okay, this from this areas. So from these areas, when this material is removed, then we have to enter it into the solid solution. Okay, so then when we enter this into the solid solution, this will come in contact layer by layer, that will remove the material from these areas. Okay, so this is basically the method is photoresist masking. Okay, last is the application part. Okay, so the application is, sorry, last is application part. So application is in aerospace, that removal of the large amount of the unused material or unwanted material from the surface, whatever the surface of the spaceship is there, so that we have to remove the material to reduce the weight, as well as that increases the stiffness to the weight ratio. Okay, so in this video we are stopping up to here. Thank you so much, guys. Okay.